Hi guys, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting live. Don't forget, if you are new to my channel, head down there, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, get notifications when I am live and or post videos, as well as like my videos and share them for other quilters to see, or anybody interested in quilting. Okay, I'm trying to get mine started. There we go. Now I can see from here and when I'm standing up. So, as the description says, we're back to this Elsa quilt, and I'm going to turn the camera to show you where I am at so far so that everybody knows where I'm at. About right here. So this is where I'm at so far. I have a quilt top that needs borders. So this is what I'm doing. It is 3 across, 4 down with Elsa fabric. And I left Elsa big. So there's Elsa, nice and big. So now I need to put some borders on this. So I'm going to come back to right here. I'm going to tip this down just a little. Hi, Vicky. And I am going to lay this right here so that I can show you my idea, because this is just going to be me randomly creating as I go, pretty much, on these borders. There's no specific measurement for these. I'm just going to piece them so that you guys can see how piece borders go together. So what I was thinking is, okay, so you can see this white area right here. Quite a few areas has this, and then has another set that's white, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my leftover diamonds and I'm going to piece them together. Just pretend right now that these are, you know, in some fancy order or whatever. I'm just going to piece them together like this until, oh my goodness, stay. Until it is as long as the block, or so. Let's just pretend. Again, we're just pretending real quick. So I'm going to piece those together, and then when I piece 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'll just do 6 because that works. When I get 6 together, what I will do is then grab for the next section. So those will be 6, and then it'll be at a 45-degree angle connecting the white, which will sit along the sides of the big Elsa block. And then repeating itself to where, again, the white section will have these, and then again I'll take these and go down this way and all the way around. So I think I'm just going to sew a bunch in strips of 6 and then hook these to the end of them and then line it up and create myself a border. So let's get to it. Hi, Lacey. Cool. It'll look like ribbon or twisted rope. Yep, pretty much something like that. I was thinking, because I didn't want, okay, so here was my thing. I didn't want to put more white, you can see, in a already filled white area, since I decided against this whole Elsa being appliqued, and I just think it's just too much. So I'm going to leave it white. But putting white right here just said, no, just not doing it. So it wasn't doing it for me. So I'm just going to create the pieced part and then hook these at the 45-degree angle as if it was binding. And I'm pretty sure these are 2.5 inches. Yeah, these should be 2.5 inches. And they are. I'm going to hook these at the 45-degree angle connecting all the pieces, if that makes any sense at all. So let's get to it. So I'm just going to throw this out of the way right here so you guys can see it, I guess. Sort of see it. And I am going to bring these up to me. So I don't have all the colors that I used. Let's see, we got the purple color, we got the pink color. We don't need the white because we're not adding any white there. We got the blue. We got this purple, this blue, and this purple. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing a few colors because there's 8 colors altogether. So let me cut a couple because I want this to equal and balance out. So we're missing this one, this one. I could put one of those per. And then this one. Okay, so those are the 3 colors that we need to add just a few pieces from. So I'm just going to cut a 2.5-inch strip off of each of these, and whatever's left over goes in my scrap pile anyway to make something smaller. So let me just lay these out, and I'm just going to cut a 2.5-inch strip off of each because they're pretty well folded nicely, and I don't really need to lay them on any specific special line or anything. Okay, because everything's all still nicely done. So I'm going to save that over there in that pile because that's about 1 inch. And I'll use inch strips. All right, there's another one. Put that over there. And one more. Remember, these were all, was plenty of fabric. There was 3, no, a half a yard per each color. And I had 8 colors to start with. So now let's cut a couple. Let's see, about 1, 2, hold on, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's 8 colors, so I just need about 4 so I can mix them up. So I'm just going to stack these up real quick and make a couple cuts. And anything left over, I will use for other projects, like you guys know. So I'm just going to lay this on here. Grab the next one. Hi, Judith. And this is Insomniac hour for everybody who is not used to seeing late night videos like this. I do come on really late sometimes when I need to finish things. Especially when I get bored or have nothing else better to do, because I finished my long arming, which I'll show you guys more towards the end of the video. Just remind me. All right, I'm going to start with my 45-degree angle, if I could see it on this one. Oh, there it is. Okay. 45-degree angle on my corner. This is how diamonds are cut for those of you who are new to quilting or any kind of diamonds. I'm going to cut off at the, oh, why is it not showing the whole table like usual? Okay. Cutting off the corner first. I save all these little pieces. I have a pile of them up here. I'm actually going to make something out of all that anyway. Lining my 45-degree angle, and I already have my slant right here, so I'm just going to come over to 2.5 inches on my ruler. My 45-degree angle is lined up on the top. I'm going to cut a couple cuts real quick. Actually, I think I'll just cut the whole strip, and I still am going to use the pieces for other things anyway, so. Because that's what I do. I like to use up all of the scraps from one project. I use them pretty much right away to make a second little project. So I'm just going to cut this whole thing. Because you get 5 cuts per 2.5-inch strip by the width of fabric. You'll get 5 diamonds. You'll get 10 diamonds because you get 5 cuts if it's folded in half. And if you unfold it and press it, you'll get 1 more. But there's no purpose in me doing that because I'll use the rest for something else. All right, so I saved my little bits in my pile up over here. And I'm done cutting those. And I'll worry about my 45-degree angles when I come to it. So I'm going to take all of these. And we're going to start creating the borders. And I like my idea, so I'm not going to change my mind while I'm doing it, even if it comes out looking weird or dumb in any way, because it might even look retarded, but I'm pretty sure it'll look okay. All right. I have all 8 colors now, and I can kind of mix them through in piles of 6. So what did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 7. Hi, Teresa. What are you doing up? All right. I'm only up because I'm always up. All right. Let's place my phone over here so I can see Anyway, all right, so I'm going to sew 6 together 7 different times. So I'm going to make 7 strips of 6 in any random order. I don't want them in any specific order. We all know diamonds, when they're being sewn together, I showed this to you guys when I was making the blocks. We have a 1/4 inch sticking out. You can see that on the screen. I know you can. Just going to slide it under, but making my needle come down right at that V. So I'm going to do this 7 times. I'm going to chain piece it 7 times and then add 7 more, and so on and so forth. I already used that color. Let's use a different color. So this will be my 7 stacks. So I'll just keep chain piecing them through, and then I'll add more. You know, add the next piece and the next piece and the next piece. 7 times, over and over and over. And have fun with it, because that's what I'm doing, is having fun with it. Even though it's a client's quilt, I still have to have fun. So we're at 1, 2, 3. Let's do this one. And this one makes 4. So I'm pretty much creating a little strip unit. So make 5. Let's make 6. And this makes 7. And then I'm going to take them all off and add the next piece to them. Actually going back to bed. Talk to you later. All right, Teresa, good night. Get some sleep. All right, so I'm going to come to the top. I'm going to leave them all hooked together. I'll take the whole thing apart when I'm done. I'm just going to finger press all of them the same exact way on every single piece. So I'm just going to go to the right because that's the easiest direction. I'm just finger pressing them. And you know your diamonds are correct when they are creating one straight line in a diagonal, 45-degree angle, I should say. Okay. So let's add 7 more. And again, they're all different and random because I don't want them the same. I want it to be random. And I'm keeping it all hooked together, although I'll have to use my fingers to manipulate the fabric out of the way, or hold it out of the way just a little. I already got dark purples, but light purple. So what's everybody up doing? What you guys up doing this late? Are you like me? Can't sleep? Need something to do? Occupy your mind? Like I said, when I get towards the end of this video, when I just can't sew no more, I'll show you guys what I did on the long arm today, or what I finished on the long arm. It just needs a hanging sleeve and binding, and that's it. Let's grab this one. It was done in a Facebook video. The finishing of the quilting was, well, actually most of the quilting of what I did was made in Facebook videos. So don't forget to join the group. If be subscribed to my channel so that you can join the group, which is in the description below, so that you can see any long arming videos, because they're all done in the group. And I'm just finger pressing all these to the right. And then I'll just trim apart all the, snip apart all the threads when I'm done. For now, I'm just not making a mess by keeping everything together. Chain piecing the whole lot. Nothing was bored and was going to bed, but you came on, so yay. Yay! Glad you're staying up to hang out with me. This one needs a pink. I shouldn't be too long, but if I cannot talk so much, then I can sew more. Which is okay, because at night, usually there's not as many people on, so I can chit-chat, and it's a lot easier. I'm not trying to keep up with the feed, but there's nothing wrong with having a lot of people day or night, honestly. All the more videos for you guys to learn from or get ideas from, or, well, just about anything. Especially since I've been explaining the process as I go. This one had a little bit of extra, so it was only smart to, you know, add the borders like this. I think it's going to be really cool. If it's not, then I don't care. Because I'm pretty sure it'll look okay. Let's put a light purple on this one. And I'll do the last piece of that finger press. And like I said, I'm doing 6. So I will have 6 pieces per. And when I go to put the border on, I will adjoin them by just lining up my best eyesight. It won't be a proper measurement like you're supposed to. I'm just going to be adding some of that white, attaching them together, and then add this, you know. It'll just be by eye. As long as my tips to my white land in the sections right here, I know you can see it. As long as the white kind of starts right here and goes right there, if the diamond part comes up, then that's perfectly fine, you know. And I know my blocks are 21 inches. No, they're 20.5 inches. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're 20.5 inches. So I could just cut these 20.5 inches because these are going to stick out anyway, you know. We'll see when I get that far. All right, let's add this color. Again, I'm just randomly sewing them on. 6 pieces. I'm making 7 little rows. For anybody that's new, I stayed up sewing late last night. Nothing good on TV right now. I don't feel like sewing. Then that's all the better reason to come over and watch me and hang out and chit chat. You guys know I love the company. Let's put a light blue in this one. And the cool part is these are solid, so I don't have to worry about a right side or a left side. It's just kind of goes together the way it goes together. Even though it's right sides together normally. But these would have been leftovers and facing the correct direction either way. All right, this one can get a pink. And I think I'm mixing them up pretty darn good. All right, 2 more. This one needs this color blue, which is not that color blue, which is good. There's a different color in every single one. And one more we'll do. That one's already in there. Let's do this one. much harder than curves and lacings. Really? Yeah, this is one, I don't know, something about diamonds. I guess that's why I became so obsessed with them because I've never really had a problem with them. Oh, and after I get the last piece on, I will go press all these and cut off the dog ears on all of them. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then one more makes 6 for every single row. That one already has a pink, that has that blue, but it doesn't have this blue. There's no two same colors in each little strip that I'm making. Yeah, I've never had a problem with these. I guess the only other way around that is like if you're paper piecing, probably to have good 45-degree angles. All right, let's see which one is not in here. No, that isn't. This isn't. Yep. Okay, this one needs pink. And this one needs a blue. Actually, this one can use this blue because this blue is not in this one. I'm talking to myself, like always, as well. So if you wanted to make some kind of big, huge diamond, this is also, you would add 7 rows, leaving all this together, and you can make yourself a big diamond and add 4 triangles to it, creating a rectangle. Also, for those that are new and curious as to how this would work if I added 1 more row, because you need 7 by 7. I'm just doing 6 and keeping them hooked together just for now while I sew the pieces together. Okay, this one doesn't have a... This color purple? Aha. And this one is a... What has that? Doesn't have a light blue. And even with the leftover pieces, I could actually sew all the leftover pieces into a strip and just put one random strip down the back of the quilt. You can do anything. Sky's the limit. Let's see. That one's in it. This one is not. Okay. Okay. So I got 6 in each little row. So like I was saying, if you wanted to make a big, huge diamond, like I did in my, the one big, huge quilt, although that one's a 6er. If you wanted to add 1 more to this, you can, and then you would add, as they're hooked together, sew each individual row, creating a big, huge diamond, and then take and put a half triangle on all 4 sides once it's done, and create yourself a oh my god, the words aren't coming to me. Create a rectangle for a piece for the back of the quilt, or you can just make diamonds, big huge diamonds. If you see how this is working, see if I did this like that and hooked them together with 1 more row, you could see that it would create one big huge diamond. It'd be so cool. So I'm going to snip them all apart now and then press them. And I know I have my little chingamabobber, but thing is, well, I don't even know where it is. Buried, probably. My little seam or separator thing, my gadget. All right. So let's press all this now, make it nice and flat. Let me turn the camera over to the pressing area. There's a sneak peek of something. All right. And they're all finger pressed, so they should lay nice and flat. Probably should lay my seam facing the direction that I'm using the iron. Okay, there's one. It's nice and flat. Number two. Nice and flat. Since they're finger pressed, I really don't need to do much. I just need them to lay flatter so that we can have a more accurate measurement. Because you're tired and need to go to bed also. Who, me? Oh, see what this iron does? You guys see that? What it did? Look at that. It caught the end and scrunched it up. Hate that, hate that, hate that. So I'm just pressing these all really flat, and then I will measure to see what tip hits where so I know how I'm going to lay them on the border. And all that is nice and flat too, so it makes it so much easier since I pressed the quilt top so far. All right, so there's these. Let's turn the camera back around. Okay. Let's grab this. Lay it right here. I want to see how this works. The 6 looked good since it lost seam, you know. That should be perfect because that tip ends up there and that tip ends up there. So they'll be white connecting. So and this one will go here like that. So that'll be white touching in the lower spots. So now I'm going to go ahead and attach 20. Hold on, I got to think about this real quick. This is 20.5. And it looks like this is touching edge to edge. And I have this comes to this edge right here. So 20.5. I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and attach one of these to this to start. Why not? And just attach it and then cut it and attach the next. So that way it ends up however it ends up. Let's move all this. Now I don't need those anymore. All right. And the quilt fell on the floor. All right. So now I'm going to attach this. Oh, it'd be nice if I cut my 45-degree angle first. I'm going to cut my selvage off and then I'm going to cut a 45-degree angle. We'll start with my 45 on here. That one. Start by cutting out my little end first. Come over, leave it there. All right. Oh, there we go. So, right sides together. We're going to see how this works. So I'm going to start it right at the end of the quilt. Top. Line it up as if it was like binding, you know. Attach this and see what happens. Because I have to attach another piece to the other end as well. So I need another 45-degree angle for this end. I'm going to open my strip up to do so. Just slice off my selvage first and then I'm saving my little triangles. That's the only reason why you guys see me with this little extra step, because I'm saving the triangles for my other project. So 45 degrees, start it. So I'm starting 45-degree angle. Now it's going to go on here like so. We're going to see where this ends up, and I'll cut it for the next one. So I'm kind of just winging it, like it says in the description. Going back. See you tomorrow. Okay, see you tomorrow. Sleep well, Teresa. Okay, now this is on here like this. Let's see where it needs to start on the quilt top. And then we'll sew the next one on. And we'll start with one side at a time. So I can do this side and then I'll do the other side. So let me see where it needs to start. Right there, right. I need to start right there. I'll hold my ruler right here real quick. Pull this down like that. So my notch needs to be right here. I'm gonna make a little notch at the end. So I'm gonna make these exact size borders. So I'm gonna cut this off right here, a nice straight line, right where I put my little snag in the fabric. This is how things are winging it. Okay, so there's the top of that. Now let's measure down from here to where my next 1/4 inch angle should start. I'm going to have to put a pin right there because I want it to stay. Because we're making this an exact border. I'm just going to pin it right here. Oh wait, it stays. Put it nice and flat. It's nice and flat. Nice and flat. Grab another one. I have them going down. So I need the 45-degree angle to be 1/4 inch below where I'm touching this. So I'm going to come down 1/4 inch right about there. I'm going to cut my angle real quick. Just going to leave that right on there. Just like so. Again, this is winging it, guys. I'm winging it. It's going to be pretty all colors around. Yes, it is. I'm going to come over a 1/4 inch beyond my little piece that I laid right here. Cut it. Put that aside. And these two are now going to be attached together like so. So let me take this to the sewing machine. Holding the quilt up here because I actually have it pinned on the one side. I really have to sneeze, I think. Okay, I'll hold that sneeze in, I guess, for the next 20 minutes. All right, now that end is still nice and tight, so let's line it back up again. It's nice to have a big table to do stuff like this too. So that matches where it's supposed to match. That's on the end. Laying it nice and flat. Ooh, that comes out perfecto. Perfecto. Keep coming. Keep coming. Come on down. Could have gone down just a little bit more. Okay. Slightly off. I could have came down about another, I don't know, 1/2 inch. Okay. Now we hook to white, and then that's the end of this row. Let's see if that fits. I know it don't. All right. Let's see if this one fits. I'm going to cut this one on here. It needs to be about right here. So let's cut this in right here along the 45. If I can find the 45, I want this 45. There we go. 45 right there. I want that line on there, but it's not lining up where I want it. My little ruler. Stay, stay, stay. Right there. I'm using the lines on the ruler, on the mat now, because that's the angle I need. Okay. My winging it. Let's put this one on here, like this. Hopefully this stays up, and then I'll sew this side on, because there's no need for it to just hang there. Hopefully it lines up just right. And then we'll make out the other side. And then the top and bottom. So that's a lot of drops in the eyes, that's for sure. All right. Now I'm going to come back to this top. And we're going to sew this side on, and then I'll trim the bottom when I get to it. And I'm just going to leave the dog ears on for now because they're really not in the way of anything except for this one right here. Because this one just so happens to be pressed away from the weight. Flip it around. And the diamonds on both sides and top and bottom are probably going to end up facing different ways. And really, in reality, you should pin, but I'm not pinning. I never do. Well, I just did, even though I was only pinning to see something, to hold it in place. Okay, so I'm going to do the one side, and then we'll build the other side, and then I'll build the top and bottom because it's going to be wider. So I'm going to back stitch right here at the beginning. And I have the piece, the diamonds on the bottom. But that's okay. I'm using my finger. I have my thumb on the top, first finger in the middle, and then the rest of my fingers underneath the strip, which is normally would be on top when you sew it on like this, but I'm doing it from the back. They line up just the same either way. I should go all the way to the end. And I pre-cut a bunch of 2.5-inch strips from my yardage. I'm at like, let's see, I started with 2 yards, so I'm at about 2 3/4 yards of the white now for this whole quilt top. So that's not bad. I was trying not to put too much more white because I don't want it to look that, I don't want it to look too dumb, if that makes any sense. And I'll press it. Lay on there, nice and pretty. I think this can look so cool because the smaller, the white around the Elsa fabric, or the white, the colors are thin strips, and I didn't want to end it funny, you know? I wanted it to end really nice. Gotta get rid of the dog ear right here. Almost to the end. I wanted the white to touch the end of the Elsa fabric border. Balance out the color. Almost done. And then I'll trim it. Alright, let's trim this off real quick. Don't fall anywhere. We're going to go build the opposite side now. Same procedure. We're going to grab a thing, grab these. Let's see what this looks like though. I'm going to press it real quick. So let's turn the camera. Okay, so turn it around. We're going to press this. Just going to kind of give it a little bit of heat to start. Lay it nice and flat. Roll it back. Roll it back. So winging it borders like this could end up with some bowing or wrinkles in them. So just take that into consideration when you're winging things like this. I quilt all my own stuff, so I'm, used to if I accidentally do that, which is what happened here, right here at this bottom so far. Just a little bit though. Over, finish pressing this back. So just letting you know, if you have any kind of bowing or wrinkling in your borders, watch that when you send it to a long armor. If you're quilting it yourself, there's ways to fold in all tucks and creases and make it look really neat and clean. All right. So there's one side done. Let's build another side now. Other side hopefully line up a little bit better. We'll see. Doesn't really matter if it's perfect or not. I'm going to turn the camera around. All right. Starts with white on this one because I'm upside down now. All right. So now we're going to start to see if this one will make the... How about this one? I'm way too short. All right. Looks like I'm going to have a whole new piece of fabric every time. All right. So let's find one of these. And I'm just randomly putting them in. Hopefully they don't sit the same way. Okay. So this one is now going to go this way because they're going to be kind of going around the quilt. So I will have to cut all of the dog ears off of this. Let's just trim these off using the rotary cutter because it's faster. There we go. Much easier to do that way. And now, I was going this way. No, I was going this way. Let's look at the other side. So the point at the bottom goes in towards the bottom. So that would be out then, yeah. And I just cut the dog ears off that end. So the point would touch. So yeah, they're going to go all the way around in a round type of manner. Let's hold this here. that right there where it touches that end and touches that end, so that I know how long this one needs to be. This is this angle. So I'm going to cut over. Let's cut this out first. Talking to myself. Pause that. Cut this angle first. Make sure that that's on my 45 degree. Where is my 45 degree? This one. Aha. 45, 45. Okay, there's a 45 degree angle. Let's attach this to this real quick. This is not going to stay. This is going to keep falling. Everything looks like it's very pretty. We'll see. Well, I'm pretty sure it will be, but I'm having fun with it. Can you tell? Right. And I'm doing my best to finger press away from the white, only because, like I said, I don't like this white. It's a lot see-through than compared to any other white I have ever used. All right, so let's lay this out again. Right here, nice and flat. I'll lay this right here where my point is touching right here at this point, because this one will be touching that one down there as best as possible. I'm going to come over here, lay it really, really nice. Oh, I need this here. I'm going to make a little indentation right there so that I can trim it nice and flush. Okay, let's see if that's enough. That's probably not, to do the other side. I knew I cut a lot of strips for a reason, because I knew I was going to have some kind of issue. All right, so let's lay this right here. I'm going to pin it on the end right here, so that way it stays. I'm going to rub my hand against it nice and flush. Come this way. Hold the whole thing. Yep, that's going to be, doesn't go far enough. Nope. Grab another one. Chop my end off. I'm going to go salvage real quick. I'm going to come right here, cutting that angle. Let's find my 45 degree angle right there. Cut this angle real quick on this piece. Connect these two. I'm totally trying to hold the quilt top with my belly so that it doesn't fall and yank it off the table. Temporarily. Temporarily. All right. All right, next one is on. Let's see where this lines up now. Starting from the beginning again. Bring it down. It's lined up, lined up. And if you're daring enough, like me, start building like this. It's actually fun to just kind of build and go. As long as you're laying everything flat, holding things down. All right, so that next one is going to start right there. So I want the white to stay. Stay. Everything's nice and flat. Look at that, right at that end too. All right, grab another one. That are facing down that way, like that. So I got to get rid of those dog ears real quick. Do not do that without Unless you trust yourself. Okay. So I want it to start right there. It ends right at that tip. So we're going to come up 1/4 inch, leaving the piece right there. Do not move it. I'm just going to come a little bit more than 1/4 inch away from it for now to get the angle. So like 1, 2, 3/8 of an inch. Just barely, just to make sure everything's on the 45-degree line. Everything looks good. I should have came down further. That should be fine. I'm thinking, why am I going up? I should be going down. All right, put this on right here. I'm making it work, guys. I'm making it work because I'll still have to add some at the end on the other side of this. Line up, line up. I'm holding with my belly on the table again. Come on, get on there, piece. Stretching my foot to reach the pedal so that I can hold this. 31 degrees. Yikes. Okay. It's too cold for me. It's been it's been cold here, so it's been in the 50s at night, and I can't barely do 50s. It was like 57 last night, and it's been in the 70s during the day. All right, let's add this angle down here to the bottom, and then I'll trim that end as needed. So again, just going to lay this on here, sew it on. This is my winging it. This is how I do it. Kind of just do whatever. Okay, and 1 4. Found some meat on me to keep warm. I don't have no meat on me to keep warm either. I am very, very tiny. You guys know that. All right, again, I'm going to pull the pin out up here. Start this end by sewing it on. Same procedure. And then I'll build the top and bottom, and then the last border will be the Elsa fabric by itself. I'm just going to do like a, I don't know, 4.5 inch, 4 1/4. I think 4 1/4. I'm not sure yet. It's twin size. I'm making a twin size, so I need to go. That gives me 8 more, and it's 60, 68. That would be 68 by 88. Yeah, that's the perfect. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a perfect twin. We'll see. And yes, I just throw my water bottles in my room. I clean everything up when I'm done recording. Sometimes they end up being swapped out, though, for my crushed water bottles from my iron, because the baby likes to crush my iron bottles. I'm making scallop potatoes and ham. You gonna come cook it for me? Normally I would not sew this from the bottom, like I said, but the circumstances are warranted for it right now with how I'm piecing this on here. tickets and will come. I can't even afford to do anything, let alone fly on an airplane somewhere or fly anyone to me. That would be so like hard right now, but it would be so awesome to have friends come visit. Okay, let's get this on here. Kind of just like sewing to each seam, holding the seam, holding the thing, sewing to the next seam, so on and so forth. This one's going to be starting way up ahead of that one. That's fine, it's not going to be perfect. It's still going to look cool. Why? Because I told it to. I'm telling it to be nice and cool and look awesome. Definitely is not equal, that's for sure. Oh, it'd help if I had thread, huh? Add a bobbin. If you're watching, you could say hi. I see a lot of watchers. There's 9 of you, but only 1 talking. And Lacey's probably there still too, but she stopped talking. Feel free to talk. Unless you're watching on a device that doesn't have typing. Okay, I'm going to just trim this off. And it should look okay whether it's not lined up perfectly or whatever. Like I said, I'm not really going to worry about that too much. I'm probably going to quilt this edge to edge, so something simple. All right. Talk. Talking helps me, guys. When you guys chat with me, it really, I don't know, keeps me company. It makes me feel needed. All right, I'm just going to roll this back with my hand and push it back with a hot iron. I'm not really steaming right now because for some strange reason, this iron is not very steamy the last couple days of doing any work in here. It's kind of weird. I'm just forcing it back. I didn't want it pressed towards the white, but this has a mixture of white and darks, so my hair is everywhere. I like when you guys talk and ask questions, and look at all that shredding. I got a lot of shredding to cut out of this border. This purple just doesn't like me, huh? I always cut shredding or any kind of thread that gets pulled to the front accidentally. I always trim it out before it gets to the long arm. And if I miss anything when I get to the long arm, then I trim it while I'm there. That way I don't have to do it in the finished quilt process and end up snagging or ripping something. In this process right here, you can snag and rip accidentally, and it's a little bit easier to fix a snag and rip in this stage than it is once the quilt is on the frame being quilted and or quilted. So if you have any little loose threads popping through any seams, get them out while it's in this stage beforehand. Just like if you're using white fabric and it is kind of see-through. I'm going to use this as an example, say, because this is see-through, sort of. When you're using white fabric that's kind of see-through, here's some scrap fabric I'm going to throw under here. When you're quilting and you quilt over that, like I can see that big time. I can see that. Now, the best thing to do is when you are done with this process, take any shredding and just carefully pick it all up, pick it all out and snip it, snip it, snip it. Or if you don't want to snip it, fold it away from your lightest colors into under your dark colors, because then it'll hide it. If you have too much to snip away because your fabric is cheap like mine and it shreds a little bit more, just make sure you clean up the back side so that none of it is under the white. So I would pull some of this away. Some of it's just coming right off, but I would make sure that there's any threads under this white when it gets to the frame. All right, so here's the second one. So it kind of touches right here, but I don't think that's going to be minded. It should have came a little bit further. So now let's put the top and the bottom on here. All right, so this should be a little bit easier because I only have one to do on these. So let's grab a strip. I'm going to turn the camera. Hold on 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm going to do the Elsa fabric as the final border. All right. So now I just have one for here, which leaves two for the bottom side. I'm going to lay this here, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut 2 strips with a 45-degree angle here and there, and I'm going to line it up perfectly right here, and I won't have a problem. So this one is this angle. So let me trim this down right here and get that selvage off of there real quick. I'm going to cut my 45-degree angle right here, wherever my 45-degree angle is. Again, I keep losing it. Line it up right here on this bottom corner. Make my little triangles that I'm keeping for another project. So this one is going to get sewn on this side real quick. And I'm going to sew another one on the other side. This is the easy one to do because there's only one, but that bottom corner, or the bottom, has 2. So this one is the easier one. I'll get this one done and out of the way. Are you kidding me? I started stitching and it folded it was yanking my fabric. Make sure your fabric is on your table or else it won't stitch nothing. Okay, so here's this one. Now I'm going to grab another piece. So here it would be sitting here. I'm going to trim it at the end in a second. I'm going to grab another piece. I'm going to come on this side, and I want it to be that angle. So we're going to chop off the selvage first. Nice and flush. Put all these dumb selvage pieces down. And this is the angle now that I'm cutting. So let's line up the 45. Chop it up right here on this end. You probably use the binding tool for this project as well. Now I'm going to sew this one on here on this side. I'll just let the project fall on the ground. Hi, Michelle. Oh, I love the board. Baking so fun. All right. Alright, so I'm going to press this in towards this dark color, and I'm going to trim off the dog ear real quick. Like that. And now I'm going to lay the quilt up here, and I'm going to put a couple pins in. This one, at least. I'm just going to hold it up here on the table. Lay it right here. Put it where I want it. Just touching there and touching there. That's about good right there. I'm going to throw some pins in here. I don't need any pins down at that bottom end because I'm going to start up here at this top end. Flatten it out. Throw a pin in right here. Nothing's stretching or pulling. Flatten it out. Michelle, you get your top sewn together yet? All right. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Nice and flat. Holding it. Throw another pin in right here. And one more pin at the top, and I don't need any at the bottom because this is just kind of holding it here so that I can bring it over to the machine, stitch it on. All right. Bring the whole thing up on the table because I need it to not yank. Yanking is not good. And I'll trim both these ends off, you know, when I get to the other end and this end. There's so much dust right now. I'll trim both the ends off when I get to them. When it's finished. So for now, right side together. Everything's sewn on. Make sure to take my pins out or I'll end up poking the crap out of myself. And I'll do the same thing, I think, with the bottom, the pinning thing. Maybe that'll be better than I did on the sides. Who knows? It could be the same disaster. All right, almost done. My end should line right up right here. I mean, it's not lining up, but it should not be crooked. Back stitch. I'm going to start by trimming this one end off because it's in my hand already. Make a nice straight cut. Again, this is not the exact way to do borders, but when you're improvising and just going with the flow like I am, I kind of tend to do this. And I line my ruler up with not only my seam line, but I also line the 1/4 inch line from the line on the ruler away, you know. And then I line my side up to get perfect borders. Okay. Move it to the other side real quick. Straighten and cut that up. It's kind of heavy. The star blocks are the heavy parts, so it kind of messes with the weight of the quilt. So again, I line a line on the ruler with the seam, and then that make sure that the next 1/4 inch line is also within proximity. It's on there, you know. And then I line the side right here. And then I trim. And now let's press this one. And I better close my ruler blade or my rotary blade before I cut myself. All right, so let's press this one. Hi, Margaret. Not so at the moment because I had a fall on Thursday and broke your wrist. Boy, is it sore. Holy shit. Oh, sorry, bad word. Holy moly. I'm sorry. I hope you heal quick. Again, see, here's a lot of shredding. I'm just going to make sure that when I go to clean this up and get it ready for the frame that I will make sure all that's trimmed away from any white fabric. You have a cast on it right now, Margaret? This quilt top has now become bigger than my ironing board by just ever so slightly, but the next border will make it bigger, which is just fine because that means it is a twin size and it'll hang over the sides really nicely. All right, so top is now on. Now let's add the bottom. All right. And then I'll cut the Elsa fabric and put that in. All right, so let's turn this. We'll start with this one. Grab one. And it doesn't really matter which way it goes. So I'm just going to put it this way. So I'm going to start with one of these smaller pieces on the end, which is good because now I can use the smaller pieces. And there is a dumb song on that has been annoying the heck out of me since I first heard it. Ugh. I have my radio on ever so lowly where you guys can't hear it, but I can. It's my sewing machine loudness takeaway sound. All right, I'm gonna put this on here real quick. And then I'll hold it up and we'll see what it looks like. They're not perfect by no means, but I think it's cool. So if that's the way it's going to go, we're going to put another one whole strip in first on that angle. So let's trim this off real quick. I'm going to trim the angle off. Where's my 45? Right here. And then I'm going to put this on here. So what are you doing if you can't sew, Margaret? Is there something that you do other than sewing to keep you occupied keep your mind occupied and your hobby-wise? All right, so we're going to line this up and we're going to guesstimate the next one just by putting pins in this for now. So we'll lay that right there. I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to put this where I want to land, about right here. So we're going to put some pins in it for now. Just like so that it stays about right there. I'm going to put another one here at this end, just so that it stays down nicely. Now, I'm going to slide it this way. Oh no, oh yeah, that's right. I'm cutting some of it off anyway. And then the last of it will go on the other end. I almost had myself a moment of, oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm sliding my hand across it. I'm going to try to equal this one out because I want this to land right here. So I need a 1/4 inch this way. Aha, see? That's what I did wrong on the other side. So we're going to line this on here. And down just a little bit more. Just a little bit more to be right there. I'm going to line this up on my 45-degree angle. And I'm going to snip it. And I'm going to use this on the end. So let's put this on here real quick. Stay. Try not to twist anything if you do stuff like this. I actually did that once. I twisted a bunch of stuff up and it was on like a piece binding or something, and I twisted it and it's like, oh my goodness, no way. All right, twist towards that color and then add this to the end wherever it went. I closed my blade. Add this to the end, and then I should be able to start over there and sew it on. Okay. Let's see. Let's bring this down. We're going to flip it over. I don't need the pins now because I'm just going to start at a certain spot. End it right here by holding holding with my fingies. Oh, see how this keeps happening. Every time I move, my chair gets all wonky. And I am not moving my chair. I don't even really touch it. All right, starting it right here. Don't let my fingers move it. Don't step on it. Come to this top. I'm going to do a back stitch real quick right here. And then I'm going to sew on down. I don't need pins because now I'm going a totally different way. And I held it with my fingers. So it should come out really nice. Let's pick this up though because it's kind of heavy. It's falling to the ground. All right. There are 10 of you here. How's all 10 of you doing? I won't say your name, just say hi. How's that? I know some people don't like their names being said. I heard that. So if you don't want me to say your name, you say hi. Just the words hi. I won't say your name. All right, coming to the end and the start of this next piece. And then the end this up. Hello, Linda. Obviously, I can say your name because you've been here before plenty of times. Well, I already saw you, Vicky. I know you're there. Trimming some dog ears off real quick, guys. I'm going to literally have all these little pieces all over my room. It's a good thing we vacuum on Sundays. Look at that. Almost. Okay, so all of these now should be facing a different direction, I'm thinking. Except for the side that it's on, obviously. It should look really cool. What binding are you using? I could use the rest of those 2.5 inch diamonds and some 1 inch, 1 inch, the 2 inch and half inch white. I gotta get the word out. I could use white, and every time I connect these, I could put a diamond in it and just have random diamonds around in the binding. Or I can just do whatever happens. All right, so let me trim this one off. Again, I'm just going to do the same thing. You can either line the end of the ruler up with the seam and or just line seam lines. And now I'm going to come to this other side and trim this one off. And then I will go press it. And then I'll show you guys so far. Because I got to attach the Elsa fabric now. My ruler shifted and I can see it because this fabric is a little on the safer side. Okay, let's press. I press, then cut off the excess. Happy to be watching. Can't do anything today but watch. Went to my grandchildren yesterday. Long drive and long day. Veg day. Well, hello, Judith. Oh, what was I doing? It has become bigger than my ironing board by like 1/4 of an inch. So I have to pull it towards me just a little. Yeah, I sometimes, Lacey, I'll press and then cut off the rest, but I kind of do it when it's in that position. Often as well, when it's at, because I'm already right there, if that makes any sense. God, I have so much of this to cut out. Oh. Okay. Give me a second. I'm going to cut this out while I'm right here, but I got to go grab the snippies. I try to get it as close to the edge as possible. Always ends up under the seams. It's so crazy. All right, I'm going to turn it and show you guys where I learned my lesson on doing my first because you got cut wonky. Oh. All right, so this is what it looks like now with, see if I can hold it. So here, I'll just show one side, and they're not equal, and they're not facing the same direction. There's the bottom one, and they're not completely centered over the block. They're just there, if that makes any sense. So here's sideways. So again, they're different directions. So it's just randomly on there. And then the top only has the one, because technically that would be the top or the bottom. I mean, I guess it makes it knowing that it's directional, you know. So that's it. And then there's this side again. So they're not like completely, you can see that it didn't go all the way to the tip. And then it obviously goes a little bit beyond, but this is me winging it. So let's cut some Elsa after I measure how big this is real quick. It is the size of my table. I think my table is 64. Slide it right on the edge right there. That way I know how much Elsa to cut off. Like it literally is my table, so pretty sure my table is 64. Ah! Stay on there. 64 and a half. So it's 64 and a half. That means I need 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. Wow, that will be super wide. I don't really want to cut much off of Elsa. Hold on, guys. We're going to get some opinions real quick. Let me turn this. So let me turn this around. I'm going to flatten it out. I'm going to put the camera over here. All right. We're going to pretend small, medium, and large, because this is going to be really long and big, and this cuts Elsa off if I do this. So say that's like 3 inches. Let's see. I don't even know if you can tell. Okay. So that's 3.5. Yeah, so you would only get a dress in one spot. So that's a very skinny one. And this would be 1/2 inch bigger. Where you can see some of hers. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be cutting the 4.5 inch. Let's see, do I have any more of that? No, I do not. And if I went really big, it would be cutting enough to see Elsa both ways, which would be cutting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a 6-inch border. Yeah, I don't know about a 6-inch border. That would make this thing 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76 wide by 81, 80. No, yeah, it's 82 now. So 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. It would be 74 by 94. That's bigger than a twin. That's almost the size of a full. So it looks like the only way to make Elsa work, though, without chopping her head off. 1, 2, 3, 4 is to cut 4.5-inch strips. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I need, hold on, I gotta think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 7.5 strips. The girl can grow into it. She will grow up. Yeah, I'm just gonna make sure the whole Elsa sticks out. So I'm gonna cut. What did I just say? I think I said 4.5. I want to make sure that Elsa is sticking out enough. Hold on a second, guys. I don't remember what I just said. So 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Yep. As long as her head faces that way. So I got to try to catch the fabric at a certain spot. I lose too much if I do 3.5. I'll lose too much of her head. So what I'm going to do is figure out that was my flat end. So I'm going to have 4.5 right here. So that gets her. Yeah, whatever. And I am totally not trying to line each end up. I'm hoping that it doesn't sew an Elsa head to an Elsa butt. You know, that's all I hope for. Okay, so I'm going to line this up on here. If it stays, maybe I should turn it around. All right. Bring this over onto itself. And I need 7.5 strips. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut 8 strips. And hope there's enough for the back. There should be enough, a little for the back. And then the rest of the back will be Olaf fabric. Because this is going to go around whatever's left around this as fat as I can get it. Then I'll go around it with white real quick. Just a small little white to separate Elsa from Olaf fabric. All right. We're going to cut 4.5-inch strips. Let me straighten this edge back up. Everything's on the line. And I need to cut 8 strips. I said 8 strips, right? Yeah, because I needed 7 technically. So I'm like 7.5, 8. Okay. Don't listen to Michelle. She's trying to confuse you. She probably is. She's probably just fucking with me. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. It's what we do at night anyway. We mess with each other when we talk. When we act really silly. All right. I mean, what else are besties for? To be silly. All right. I'm going to roll those out of the way so I don't accidentally cut them because I'll use those. So I was able to keep some Elsa. So once I lose, I'll just, you know what I mean? Once I lose whatever side I sew on, that'll be just fine. So here's 1 strip. All right, 4.5 a bazillion times. I don't even feel like using the weight. It's making me feel weird. Having to grab for it. So I'm just going to do my best to keep it nice and straight. There's 2. There's 3. I'm using my arm as stabilization. It's another way you can cut. strip number 4 off, 4.5 inches. I don't recommend that beginners cut this way at all, like whatsoever. Please don't, because it could end up getting wonky if you're not used to your rotary cutter and your ruler. I've cut myself and slipped and wasted fabric enough to know that it's not the correct way, but I'm doing it because I'm just trying to, and I just forgot what I was on because I was talking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's get 6, 7, and 8 cut. This Elsa's going to lose her head. Hi, Christine. It's daytime for you, huh? Or is it finally nighttime or evening? I always forget the exact difference in time. I forgot the number I was on again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6. This makes 7. And 1 more. You see how fast I forget, guys? It's not my fault. I have long-term memory, but I do not have short-term memory. My short-term is so screwed up. And it really sucks, too. All right. So that leaves me with about 1.5 yards to throw back. All right, so let's put these pieces together. I'm going to line up and cut all the selvages off, and I'm just going to sew them end to end, end, over and over, and then I will just sew them on and trim them off, and sew them on and trim them off, because guess why? Because I don't care. I've done this enough times to know that when I quilt it myself on a long arm, I don't have a problem. And if I do, I know how to get around it because it's my problem and I created it, if that makes any sense. I do pretty good with that. It's one thing I do really good at, is making sure I fix all the problems as I go. If I made problems in the putting it together part. As long as it doesn't fall apart, that's all that matters. And my sewing is good. It's my trimming that's not perfect. All right, so I cut 8 pieces at 4.5 inches. Just making sure I say it in the video in case somebody wants to make one of these. Watching all the videos together. Now I'm going to cut all this off, salvage off, and then I'm going to sew them. And remember the trick I showed you for sewing a ton of strips together? Well, I'll show you again. For those of you who are new, create a big huge stack like so, and I'm not going to care if they don't line up because it just doesn't work that way for me. So I'm going to show you this. I take this bottom piece and I'm going to flip it out of the way so I have exposed a wrong side. Then I'm going to take that one and the next one, and I'm going to sew those two together because they are right sides together. Then I'm going to take the next two. They are right sides together. Let's take those next 2 pieces. So you see wrong side, wrong side. Take those next 2, sew those together. This is fun, saves time, very simple. Some people do 45-degree angles in their borders. I do not. I do not see no reason to. I like my straight seams. I think it looks nice and clean, and it's easier to match up certain style fabrics as if you're using stripes or whatever. It's easier to get that to line up on a straight seam than it is a 45-degree seam. Okay, again, taking those next 2, like so. Sew them together. They should all line up if you stack the whole stack nicely and cut them all the same exact way. They should all line right up. Chain piecing it through. Now, taking the next two. So much easier. See why I teach the way I teach, guys? Because it's time-saving ways to do this. And you wonder why I get things done so fast. I skip steps and I save time. So, next two. They should be lined up because they were cut on top of each other. And again, the next two, which will have one extra piece. Don't even worry about it. Fling it out of the way because you don't need it. It's not going to be sewn to anything. Unless you're making some kind of tube, which you're not. Now, watch what happens when I snip all these apart. Again, this is the time-saving way of making borders. Ready? So I'm going to find that end I just threw out of the way and watch. Now I have right sides out the whole way. Every single seam is now connected. Look at that. One long, correctly accurate, sewn together strip. Just and done. So that's how fast and easy that is to make a border. And sewing it is exactly the same. So let me get to attaching it to this top. I'm going to take the whole entire pile and I'm going to throw it on the side of me over here because I don't really need it on top of me. I'm going to grab the quilt top. Seams wasn't too much fabric. 45 seems waste too much fabric if the angles on no dig through. Yep, it wastes way too much fabric. So now I'm going to start on the sides and then do top and bottom. So I'm going to make sure I'm on a side, which is 4 down, and it is. I'm going to come over here. This is the fast and easy way to do this. I've shown you guys plenty of times, but obviously I'm showing you again because this is the last for this quilt top. And then this thing is going to be huge and done. All right. So I'm going to grab my Elsa fabric. Now there's a trick to this because I get equal amounts on both sides every time. So what I do is I take this, line up my end. I'm going to back stitch the right sides together and I'm going to sew down this whole entire side. Okay. And then we'll move on to the next and I'll show you how this works. For me, at least. How it works for me. Sorry, fingers too fast. Sometimes I do angles on binding, though. I do angles on the binding almost every time. The only time I do a straight seam, and I know this might sound weird, is every once in a while when I do a flange binding, I'll do a straight seam because that for some reason the fabric always lines up where both of those diagonals are together and it creates one big huge lump. On a straight seam, I can put them to the side and they fold over fine. So, but I have taught you guys flange binding with the 45-degree angle seam, bias seam, instead of sewing on a straight seam. But binding actually lays just as flat. If you press the seam open, it lays super flat. If you just do a straight seam. Now, if you're taking it to a show, I would never do that. Don't ever do that if you're taking it to a quilt show because you will get docked points because of that. They want to see bias binding. They do not want to see straight seamed binding, getting it done and over with kind of binding. So I'm just going to sew this on here. It's a 4.5-inch cut. It's going on here really, really nice. And I'm also, what's the word? I did not press the seams on the binding or the border yet. I'm just kind of sewing them on. The seam will flow the way of the the foot, as I sew over it, it'll just go down. So when I get to the ironing board, I'll press it the way that it's been sewn. The fabric's already as flat as it can get, so I mean it's not really going to make a difference. There's no bump or fold, and I'm not sewing a bump or fold into it. So it's not even finger pressed. It's really easy to get around that. It's another cheater. Ignore it. You don't really need to press it at this point because it does lay flat and you're pressing it right after, so it really doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know how many times I've pressed something and then sewed it on and then had to press it again anyway because, it still has to be pressed afterwards. So, I mean, that's pointless. The sewing foot's going to sew right over it in the direction that it's going to lay anyway when you press it. So, it doesn't really matter. Cut the time out. You don't need to worry about it. If you're in a hurry like me to finish a project, this came exactly to the end of this one. I need to flip this seam real quick. I don't want it facing the white. Yeah, there we go. It came right to the end of this. So what I'm going to do, oops, I'm going to put the foot down first. I'm going to fold it on top of itself. Nice and flush, and it's right side up. I'm going to align this fabric nice and flush. Come on, get on there, Tiffy. Line it up, line it up. Nice and flush with that other top of that other piece. It's flush with itself. I'm going to create a crease. I know you guys can't see what I'm really doing here. Where's my good scissors? We'll use my paper scissors because they're right there. My good ones are not hanging up where they're supposed to be. And now I'm just cutting on that line that I just creased. And I only needed 2 strips on the side. So I have my piece right here. I'm just going to pull that out in a minute and start the seam on the other side. So technically I saved myself actually from showing you guys lining up the other side because I could just start from this end. Because it's going to be the same on the other side. So let me rip this out real quick. Just need to rip a couple stitches and I can't seem to grasp it. Oh my, my, my. Ha! So that's a nice flush seam to start with. All right. I'm going to back stitch. And I'm going to come the opposite side. So I'm doing the sides first. And this should end at the end of the other one as well, with just barely anything left. Okay, so I'm going to sew side 2 on now. I'm also going to pick the quilt up because you can see that it's yanking right here. And I don't want that. Yanking will cause bowing. That's why I always tell you guys to have some kind of extendo table of some sort, or use a big table that has lots of room. Anything that's bigger than a little baby blanket, you don't want it hanging. Is it buffering for any of you guys? Because my own self screen is buffering. Flannel is quilts that reduce the pressure of the foot a bit. If you can, flannel stretches a bit. Open it as well. What are we speaking about here? Let's see. I am making grandson quilt out of flannel. I have the top finished and I'm getting ready to add a cotton border, but I am thinking of putting flannel binding on. Should I do an angle on flannel binding? Yes, you should, but can I suggest something? Flannel binding is going to be hard because not only will it stretch, but it's going to be so thick. This thing, if you have one of these knobs that lifts your foot up. You need that and your walking foot, because you're going to have a really, really, really thick seam, especially if the quilt itself is made from flannel. If you've already just made only the top and you haven't done anything else and it's not quilted yet, might I make a quick suggestion? Do a stitch all the way around, leaving that opening, and do a binding free quilt and then quilt it, which is stitching in a ditch to make it so much easier, because it's flannel. So if you mess up, it's not going to matter because it's stitched in a ditch and it's really thick. But for flannel, when you're using flannel top, flannel bottom, and you want a flannel bind as well, I would say screw the binding, put your batting down first, then you put your backing facing right side up, and then you put your quilt top facing right sides down, stitch all the way around the whole entire thing, leaving an opening at the top or bottom of the quilt, depends on what side you want. Pull, reach in that hole after you've sewn all the way around, pull the quilt out, make it nice and flat, adjust the things, and then sew that end shut where you pulled it out from. That will 100% prevent it from being so thick on the edges, and then you just do a seam. When you sew your bottom closed, like I showed you guys in a couple of my videos, when you sew the bottom closed, do a stitch all the way around the edge of the whole thing. You don't even need binding, and you prevent yourself from making a mess of big, thick binding, if that helps. Just as a thought. Just finished this summer throat, tied it, looks good, happy with it. Fun. I've never tied a quilt. Michelle has. I haven't. Michelle's here. She's done it. I'm a quilter. Like, I like to quilt. I like to have fun with the quilting. I think tie quilts are good for like beach blankets, picnic quilt, type beach quilt. Sounds weird to say beach quilt. It's better to say beach blanket. Oh, that's personal, like, opinion, I guess. One of my rag quilts I made, I put Rick Rack around the edge and sewed it. Interesting. On a rag quilt. I thought on rag quilts you just sew it all the way around the edge to finish it. You just sew it all the way around the edge and then do the snippy things like you did on the ragging part. I'm not sure exactly how that works, because I actually have not made a rag quilt. I actually have plans to, but I have not made one yet. I got the little snip things. I got some fabric from my friend Teresa, who was here earlier watching, and I'm gonna make it. I was just gonna make a little rag throw to start, to make sure I knew what I was doing. Make sure that I was doing it correctly, and make sure that I like doing it. As I don't want to start something that I'm not gonna like either. If that makes any sense. I mean, I like the look of them when everybody posts them, but in person I might not like it. Sorry, I had a not 1/4 inch seam because I was talking and not paying attention. The star over there. It's going in the back of the quilt in the center. You know me. I always piece the back, and then I end up having to center the quilt top on the quilt back on the frame because I always end up making it a pretty much almost two-sided quilt. Well, it can be two-sided, so it's not pretty much almost. It is a two-sided quilt. All right, so I'm folding this on top of itself again, and I'm going to be just ripping off that end because it's not needed. Creating myself a little line here. I have the same amount sticking out on this side that I did on the other, so I'm just going to, sometimes it rips, sometimes it don't. I wouldn't do that with cheap fabric though, but this Elsa fabric was expensive, so I know that it will rip correctly. Okay, so to the end. Okay, without going to the iron, I'm just going to finger press right here at this end up. I'm going to come down here to this other end, and I'm going to finger press it away as well, which would be down. And I'm going to start on this side right here, which would be the top. Pull this all back up here on the table because it keeps falling and it's kind of heavy. The star blocks are really heavy. Now I'm going to line this up again, right here on this end. Was my idea helpful about using flannel instead of binding a flannel quilt to just stitch all the way around and flip it? Creating a binding list quilt. You can still quilt it, stitch in the ditch. You could actually do free motion quilting if you have it nice and laid flat and everything is cut like without no wrinkles and stuff. If you did it just right, it should quilt just right. As long as you're turning and moving it around enough and using walking foot. I don't really ever use the walking foot, but my walking foot on my Juki is really loud. So that's another reason why I don't ever hook it up and use it at night. Because it's louder than this. I made your birthday blocks yesterday. Just have to send them to you. We'll do that this week. Okay, Christine. Awesome. Don't tell me what you made. Wait until. And I'm going to tell you guys right now on the birthday blocks. When they come, I think I mentioned this on the last video when I made my own. When I made these in the video to test the size. I'm going to do it on Mondays. When I get a ton of blocks in, I'll do it on Mondays and I'll open all of them and show them off. So if you don't want me to show your block off, you make sure, if you're watching this video later as well, make sure you write a little note that you don't want me to show your block off and just let it be hidden in the quilt. I think I said that too in the video about it. So just in case you're embarrassed or whatever about it, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure you guys would be okay. If I don't say your name, then nobody's going to know who sent it anyway, right? Some people don't like their piecing. And I know because I've been told they don't like their own piecing, and that's why they're probably not going to make a block. But they'll try. And I won't say who it is because they're a beginner and they don't know and they're just learning, but they're watching my videos and learning, so that's a plus. But yeah, I'm going to be showing them off. Because it's fun getting to know you guys, so it'll be a surprise. It's just as much as a surprise for me as it is a surprise for you to see what kind of blocks that I'm going to be putting in my quilt. And I'm so excited, like super duper excited, let me tell you. I can't wait to see what you guys, colors you like, and the styles you like, and so on and so forth. And the fabrics that you like, and you name it. See who likes stripes more, who likes flowers, who likes whatever. See how many of you actually like purple like I do. This purple is my favorite color. Well, purple, pink, and black. Purple, black, and pink. And gray. Those are my colors. I like some blues. But you've seen me wear hot pink shirts. I mean, I wear purple shirts as well. And I wear a lot of black. A lot of black. You think it's weird for where I live. It's hot here. Alright, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to come over to this other side. Last side and be done. Be done with the top. I'm just finger pressing up here. I'll just finger press the other end when I get to it. I'm going to take this border piece and I'm going to come to this solid end right here and start with that right here first. So I flipped the piece around because I didn't want to start with the half piece and then end with a seam somewhere, because I know that the seam is going to be towards the bottom. I didn't want to end up with it at the last second, you know, right before the end at the junction. So I make sure I flip it so that I have the full piece at the top. If that makes any sense. To cut stripe binding across the cut. It looks great. You can tell I like stripe binding on this quilt right here. It has stripe, and then there's 2 or 3 more quilts that are in my tub that have stripe binding on them. I think it brings out, especially if it's 2 of the colors that are throughout the quilt, I think it really looks cool. Like if you make a black and white quilt and you put black and white stripe binding, but the quilt has no stripes in it, but you put a black and white stripe binding on a quilt that's black and white that has no stripes in the fabrics of the quilt top, it actually makes it look really awesome. It's like a surprise awesome finish. Okay, so I'm on this last side, or top, or bottom. I don't know if this is considered the top or the bottom, because I guess it doesn't really matter. It's not really directional, honestly. Whatever. I also like flange binding. That's my second choice, you know. And doing the flange part to be a color that is one of the colors that's in the fabric itself, but not match the border. I don't like my flange binding to match the border at all. There's no point in a flange binding if it matches the border. So if the border ends in white, you do not want to have a white with green flange or a green with white flange border or binding at all. It would look really dumb. Plus, you wouldn't see the flange if you used white. And I've seen that mistake before. I mean, it's not a mistake. It's just a color misshoot, I guess is the word for it. Walking foot, and also adjust the tension on your presser. I don't tell it's your birthday, it's a surprise. Well, obviously it's a surprise, guys. I don't know if you guys have heard my radio going off and on. If I move my body a certain way, my radio turns off and on because it has the stupid pin thing that holds my what is it called? The antenna. Because it's an old-fashioned radio, it needs an antenna. It's hooked to my desk under there. It's under the table, and it's like weird, very weird. All right, and I was correct. 7.5 strips. Look at that. I'm so used to making quilts, and I'm getting really, really, really used to how many strips are needed for this and that and this and that. It's become like second nature. All right, see? So there was my half a strip. That's all that's left. So I need 7.5. I cut 8. So now I have some Elsa scraps to do whatever I want with. All right, let's press these. I'm going to start by pressing the sides because that was the last thing that I sewed on. So I'm going to lay quilt right here. And I'm just going to press them towards Elsa fabric, and I really hope this doesn't look too stupid. It's all nice and flush. Just going to use my hand to push it back. Ooh, that looks cute. I lost a lot of the Elsa, but you know what? Pretty sure it's not going to be too much of a problem because there's lots of Elsa fabric in this quilt top. So I'm just using my finger to push it back before the iron gets to it. I'm going to make sure that my seam right here is going a specific direction. Just using, kind of just rolling it back, honestly. All right. Thank you. I love it too. I think it turned out great. Even though it's not like completely aligned, it still makes it, I don't know, it gives it that dimension, I guess, that I was trying to achieve. All right, so I got one side. Now I'm doing it as I go. Oh my goodness, come on. This thing is kind of big now. And I'll hold it up as soon as I get this pressed, like always. Or at least like I've been doing lately. Kind of just rolling it back, and I'll press it really good with starch later because it's hanging right now and I'm in a hurry. Not really a hurry, but holy moly, this is long. I'm gonna have to stand on the chair to show you guys. Okay. Now let's press 2 more sides. Yes, I am charging the proper amount for queen size. The final price doesn't come to the people anyway until after I'm complete with the, like they give me the down payment. If that makes any sense. They give me my down payment first because that helps me buy supplies. And then they tell me what they want, and I tell them, you know, well, if it's a specific kind of material or fabric, if you would like to save money or not like to save money, we'll shop from specific stores and blah, 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 blah. So that's how some of their price gets brought up. And yeah, I hope that makes sense to you guys. I kind of have a little bit of a different approach to the way I sell my quilts for commission. I still get this almost same price that anybody else would, but I charge it differently because I give options. Would you want me to buy Walmart fabric, Joann's fabric? I mean, what's your price point and starting, you know, how much more would you rather spend than on specific parts of the quilt? So, and then I always make sure I ask what kind of quilting. Do you want it dense, or do you want it light, or do you want it medium? Do you want edge to edge? Most of them always tell me, 90% of anybody that has had and came to me for a quilt wants Tiffany's custom, do whatever I feel like doing quilting. So, which is usually what I like to do anyway. I like to do my own thing. So I see what the quilt needs. I don't know what it is. It's just something that comes to me. I see how it needs to be quilted, and that's the way I'll quilt it. So, and they can give me their ideas and their input, but most of them leave it up to me. That's why I told you guys, if anybody out there needs long arm work, you know, I can't offer you a computerized service because I custom quilt everything. I can do edge to edge designs, but it's only stuff I know how to do. You know, things that I've already practiced so that I won't mess up or do something stupid. But I read the quilt top, and it kind of just, I don't know, it tells me what it needs. So those of you that send quilts to me to quilt, just know that I do it kind of my own way. I do take your suggestions though, and I, you know, do my best to do it. If you just want something like an easy meander edge to edge. I know it would be cost a lot to ship it to me for that, but I can do it. I can do tight, I can do wide, I can do whatever you want. And I'm not going to trim any of these little threads out right now. I'm just going to hold it up and show you guys, and I'll trim later. All right, let's turn this. I need people to cut fabric for me since you hate it. All right, I'm going to unplug the iron. Move that out of the way. My room is a disaster. Sorry. I'm going to hold this up on the chair, and I'm going to hope that you can see the whole thing, because I'm not very tall. So there's this little, can you see the sides? The chair is in the way. Are you kidding me? I want you to see the borders. There we go. Can you see that border? So it's striped on both sides, and then it ends with Elsa. I know there's a lot of Elsa print, but... And then there's two stripies down there. There's one at the top. So if I flip it, it doesn't matter which side is top or bottom. So this side has... So you can see the corners are like that. I think it looks really cool because they don't go the same direction. They go totally different directions. And you can see down this side. And then there's a second one right there. So I think it looks really cool. There you go. So that's that. All right, so the Elsa top is done. Now to make the back, and I'm not going to do that right now. I'll do that tomorrow or the next day. But I do have a little bit left. I have a block to go in it, which you guys can see right there. There's the block that's going to go in the back. And last but not least, I promised in the beginning of the video, for those of you who are not in the group and you are joining this, I'm still sick, by the way. It hasn't gone away yet. I'm going to hold up. So a couple months ago, I taught you guys how to make a Dresden plate. And then I left it was a 9 patch. So it's 59 by 59. I put it together like a 9 patch, very big blocks. And then I sashed it with a special sashing using the leftover pieces from making the Dresdens, because I don't waste anything. Well, I finally quilted it, and it's not bound or have a hanging sleeve yet, but I'll show you the quilting for those of you who are not in the group and would like to see it and you don't have Facebook, so you're not going to join the group. This is what I made. It came off the frame today, so let me make sure Mr. Unicorn is in the correct direction. So let me bring it closer. Oh, here. The back is center, black all the way around the zebra print. Okay, so let me bring it close so you guys can see. There's the quilting in the Dresden. I only stitched in a ditch in the Dresdens, and then in the center, let me hold it so you can see, I just did this weird like oval-y. There we go. It's focusing. So in the center of all the Dresdens, it's got a little, sorry, there's thread everywhere still. Okay, let's get another Dresden. So I just echoed around the whole thing. So all the Dresdens are that. And then there is the unicorn and the stars. And I did not, okay, I didn't put any stitching. I'm trying to hold it and see. I didn't put any stitching here or in these. I only stitched around and around. So I just stitched the edges. I didn't put anything in there. Again, this has a circle within a circle, but it looks like an oval. And then the corners, I made a flower right there. So you can see there's a flower in all four corners. And it's kind of basted with white and black thread because I switch out colors the whole time. So there's a flower in each corner. And then in the zebra print, I kind of just stitched around all this. So I went in lines. So when you look on the back side, let's see how well this is going to be seeable. You see the zebra stripes? Let's see. There you go. You see those zebra stripes now on the back side? Doesn't that look cool? So I went around the whole entire thing by filling those in at the zebra stripes so that you can see them. And I used the black thread because I knew I was going to be within, and you can see it this whole way. I was going to be within the black, except for a little bit right here because I did get off center just a little bit. So, oops, he's upside down. So this is it. This is what I did. This is my wall hanging from my bedroom and my actual sleeping room. I did my best to make it. I mean, I literally made the back this much bigger, like not even an inch all the way around. That's why it's not lined up completely properly. So, but that's it. So that guy is now complete. And if you are not on the Facebook group and you are subscribed to the channel and you do have Facebook, go over and join the group because I posted videos of quilting this. I didn't do like one solid video of quilting the whole thing, but there's a video of how to go around the Dresdens and then how I went around the applique. So yeah, there's that. So how did you do the unicorn? Is it a small? No, I actually, my big screen, let's see if I could turn this and show you guys. That big screen that you see? So I used that big screen and I pulled up an image of the unicorn and I made it as big as I knew that block would be. And then I traced it out onto that double-sided applique paper for raw edge applique, the fusible stuff. Traced it out onto that the opposite way I would want it to be, reversing image, and then traced it, glued it onto the fabric with the iron, and then cut it out, and then glued it on. And I actually did not even machine applique it in here, like with a blanket stitch. I just waited till I got to the long arm because it was glued down. All the stars as well. They were just, I drew a star, cut it out, glued it down, and just left it as was. Took it to the long arm once I was ready, and yeah, done. So that's how it's done. All right, guys. Well, let's see. I like the piece border. Lots of work. Hope you're charging. I read all that. That's lovely. Read that. I love the cutting. Just can't stand to stand. Oh, cutting sitting down. Can't do it. I need some body with it. Wonderful. Looking forward. All right. I got all the comments. So thank you guys for watching me make the Elsa Quilt top. And I'll probably make a video of making the back because that's going to be randomly pieced together as well. So there's the ends. That's what it looks like with the Elsa fabric. So, I mean, some of her head pieces are there. Some of her body, but I don't think there's no head touching butt throughout the whole thing. So that's good. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye. Let me make sure I click off this correctly this time. Bye-bye. 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 Bye now.